Hi, my name's Abby. I live in North Essex and I'm 24. Um, I was diagnosed with Wolfram syndrome at the age of 12, so I've had the condition for 12 years now. Um, so originally, I was diagnosed with diabetes mellitus at the age of 5, and then diabetes insipidus at the age of 12. And as a result of that, I had to get a gene test for Wolfram syndrome. And since then, um, or since the age of 12, I'd started my journey with Wolfram syndrome. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was how Wolfram syndrome has helped me to build resilience, mainly in the face of failure, because they happen, whether we notice them or not. And originally, pre-Wolfram, I was a perfectionist, A-grade student. I was in absolutely every social club that you could imagine. And I was living life as what I now call a normal person. Post-Wolfram syndrome, that became very challenging, although the challenge didn't really hit me until I went to university. And unfortunately, I did have to drop out of university. However, I'm now sitting here with my degree. So I did take a year out and go back. Post university, I did start my teacher training and found that actually that may not have been the best fit for me at the time. So I ended up having to drop out of that. However, I'm now sitting here talking to you whilst going back into teacher training and also being employed at a sixth form as an instructor. So I've not stopped teaching and I'm still going to accomplish the goals that I set out to. And I don't think that I would have been able to kind of keep on track with my goals if I didn't have Wolfram syndrome, because without it, I don't think I would have had to fight as much as I did and had to adapt as much as I did. I grew up as a dancer for 12 years, and as I started to lose my sight, that became extremely difficult, but it didn't reduce the enjoyment I got from dancing. And that kind of meant that I carried on that path. And although I'm not going to grow up to be a dancer, I'm still on the path that I wanted, and I'm still doing what I enjoy, which is teaching, which I couldn't have done without Wolfram syndrome. And also, I think my students are more engaged with me and kind of relate to me more, knowing that actually I have had those setbacks and I'm still where I want to be and where I need to be. In the future, I am hoping to complete my masters. I have started them. So I have done my first year of my masters, and I had worked voluntarily at a sixth form teaching for the past 2 years. So my goal is to not be a volunteer and to be a full-time employed teacher. But before that can happen, I do need to complete my teacher training, which I will start in September. My advice to anyone who may be having a rough time of it at the moment is that they really shouldn't give up. I've been in situations, especially after walking away from uni. I've worked my whole life to get there. I turned up and I hated it. Absolutely hated it. But following on from that, I then went on to get my degree, to meet some of the best friends that I've got, and to absolutely love my university, so much so that I went back and I'm doing my master's there. So my advice is not to give up, no matter how bad it gets, and no matter how awfully you think you're doing, you're not doing half as bad as you may think, and you will get to where you want to be if you carry on going and learn from your setbacks.